record. Okay.
So good morning. My name is Alison, and this is Gahiji, my co-mediator. How would you all like to be addressed today?
Jordan is
Jordan?
fine.
Okay.
I'm Charlie.
Charlie, thank you. Great. So Gahiji and I are both professionally trained mediators with the Community Mediation Center of New Orleans. And we'd like to start by talking about how we approach mediation and then discuss the interaction that brought the two of you here to the table. So mediation is voluntary, it's non-judgmental, and it's confidential. So voluntary means that we're all here at our own free will, and anyone can end the process at any time. You won't be forced to say anything or do anything that you don't want to do in this process, and you won't be forced to agree to anything that you don't want to do. Mediation is non-judgmental, so our job is to listen and try to clarify what's important for everyone who's here. We don't give advice, we don't take sides, and we don't decide who's right or who's wrong.
Well, if you don't decide who's right or who's wrong, how do I win?
So mediation is about a dialogue and a process for you to come up with your own solutions. So this is your process and your solutions that you'll come up with through this. It's a collaborative process. So unlike an adversarial process in court, this is a space where you come up with your own agreements to meet your needs for what it is that you're looking for today.
Does this stop me from going to court?
This doesn't stop you from going to court or pursuing other options, but most people find that mediation does come up with a solution that works long term for them to have their needs met and to get what they're looking for. Does that clarify some of your hesitancy? It sounds like you were feeling a little skeptical or had some questions around that.
I'll see.
Okay. And if you have any other questions throughout the process, just let me know, and I'll just continue explaining a little bit more about what mediation is, and then we'll begin. So mediation is confidential, so nothing here is recorded on any device, and I'll be taking notes, and we destroy these notes after every session. We don't file any reports about what you said, and we won't testify at any hearing. We maintain confidentiality except for issues of child abuse, abuse of vulnerable adults, or credible threats of harm. Those things.
So hold on, because he was threatening to take me to court. So I'm just wanting to know I'm here to try this mediation thing, but like if he does take me to court, then you're saying you're not going to come and like testify on his behalf.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're looking for some clarity around how this process might interact with any other process, and that you did feel threatened that Charlie may take you to court.
Yeah,
and the only thing
he stormed off and was like, I'm taking you to court, my rights. So I'm just saying, like, I know we're trying to play nice right now with this mediation stuff, but I just want to feel like I'm protected if he does take me to court, that like you're not going to run and tell the judge, oh well, blah blah blah, like this is what she said. I know you said you're taking notes, you're going to destroy them, but like if this comes back in court, like what's going to happen?
Yeah, so mediation is confidential, so unless there's a credible threat of bodily harm, then we're not allowed to testify in court.
Okay.
So only if it's a credible threat of bodily harm.
Okay.
Does that provide the clarity that you're looking for?
Yes.
Around confidentiality?
Mm-hmm.
So again, this means that all the discussions in the mediation today and the conversations that we have with any mediation program staff stay private. And before we begin, we just need to acknowledge this confidentiality in writing. And so this is our confidentiality agreement. And so it says that you understand that the mediators are not legal advisors and not providing any legal advice to any party, and that you agree that all proceedings during the mediation, including any statements made or documents prepared by any participant, will not be disclosed for any purpose except that you may discuss the mediation with an attorney if you like. So I'm going to sign here, and I'll pass this around. So Jordan, if you could sign that.
What's the date today?
February 6th. Thank you. Give me a pen. So we're going to take a few minutes to explain the mediation process, and you have it on the table here as well. Just to make sure you understand the process that we're going to be using today. And so on the wall here, we also have a sign with the steps of the mediation process. And so you can refer to it at any point if you wonder where we are in the process. And so sometimes it feels like mediation may be going nowhere, and we just ask that everyone stay at the table until we're done. And sometimes I'll be referring to the process just to remind you where we are in it and where we're going. And so in the process, first you'll tell us both about what brought you here to this table, and we'll be asking questions for clarification and to best understand what's going on for you. Then we will list the topics, which are things that you want to make a plan about today, that you bring up. And after that, we'll brainstorm solutions and make a plan for moving forward. And when we brainstorm solutions, those are solutions that you come up with yourselves. You may reach an agreement today, or you may just get a better understanding of each other, your situation, or what you might do differently in the future and what your choices are. So you may see me referring to some of these notes here throughout the mediation, and this just allows us to ensure a consistency of quality of process in our mediations. We'll have up to 2 hours for this session, but we may end sooner. We can schedule a second session if that's needed. And again, we just ask you both to stay at the table, as creative possibilities may still emerge even when we feel like the process may not be going anywhere. So we ask you to consider hanging in there until we all agree it's time to stop. If you need a break, just let us know. The restrooms are out the door here to the right, and then another right if you need those, and smoking is allowed outside the door here. So at this point, we'll ask you what brought you here to the mediation, and we're going to be checking in just to make sure that we're understanding everything that you're saying, and asking questions for clarification. So what brought you here today? What would you like to discuss?
Well, I guess I'll go. I mean, Charlie moved in, I don't know, 6 months ago, I'd say, to the neighborhood. I've lived here all my life. And it's a nice neighborhood. It's a family neighborhood. Honestly, it started off good. Charlie has a couple kids, and they've been getting along. They got along right away with my kids, my children. I have a daughter who's 9, another daughter who's 12, and my son is 15. And so Charlie's kids and my kids were, instant playmates, and it was great. It was great to have some new kids in the neighborhood. And, Charlie doesn't seem to have a job. I don't really know what's going on with that, but at first it was kind of a blessing because he would watch my kids at his house, and it was cool because I got a little time to myself, and we would swap babysitting. He would have my kids over, I would have his kids over, and it was working out. But pretty soon after he moved in, it just basically, let's just say it's a nice neighborhood, and Charlie has just been dumping stuff all over his yard. Like, it started with some tools by the back fence. Now there's these tires. I think there's a dishwasher. Is that what that white thing is? There's a dishwasher back there. I mean, our properties are right next to each other. Like, here's my house, here's his house. And along the edge, there's all this junk. And it looks horrible. Now there's I don't even want to know what's running around in this trash, snakes and rats and ticks and all of this. And I have asked him repeatedly to clean it up, and he's just refusing. And then on top of the junk, the grass never gets cut. So it just looks like a jungle next door. And again, it's all this long grass with stuff hiding in it. I mean, it's ugly, but also it's dangerous. Our kids play out there, and I don't know what is hiding in this grass. We need to keep up the yard for the safety of the kids, of my kids, of his kids, of the neighborhood kids. It's an eyesore. It makes the whole neighborhood look bad, and it's dangerous for the kids. It's so bad that I had to call the county. I had to call the county to get the yard cut, the grass cut. You know, finally you did it after I called the county and the county wrote a letter. But, you know, grass down here grows. You have to cut it on a regular basis. So, whatever. There's more to it, but like the yard is where is really what is just killing me right now.
Thank you, Jordan.
Killing you. Grass not being cut is killing you. I've been in life or death situations. This is not one of them. I've got kids I love dearly, and I'm so happy that they develop friendships with your kids. I want that to continue, and I'm really sad and disappointed that you've been keeping your kids away from my kids. So that's one of the main reasons I'm here, is I want them to have a normal, healthy childhood, and that means having good friendships. But the sense of priorities is really out of whack. I mean, sure, it's nice to have manicured lawns. It's just, it's nowhere near as important as keeping the roof over my kids' heads. And you know, I've just had a lot of stresses, and you know, your issues, calling the county on me is another stress. You know, to get a letter in the mail is, you know, from the government that you put my life on the line to serve in Iraq is a real kick in the guts. You know, I would have preferred a direct, you know, working it out.
I try to be direct with you, Charlie. I have told you about the grass, about the trash, and you pretty much have ignored me, so you left me with nothing but to call the county. And it is a stress that the yard looks this way. It's a stress, it's a health hazard. The kids are gonna trip and like fall and hurt themselves on this. So, you know, I understand you're saying it's not a priority for you and you've got some stuff going on, but like, this is a priority for me. This is important. This is important for the kids and for our neighborhood. And, you know, if you're gonna live in this neighborhood, you have to do your part.
So is this like an ultimatum? If I can't keep my grass cut, you're gonna somehow get me in you already seem to be turning the whole neighborhood against me. I haven't, you know, been picking up little, like a whisper campaign or something, and it's like I'm feeling like the battle lines are drawn just like I had battle lines in Iraq. It's like who's on my side? It seems like everybody else is against me. You know, is this neighborhood trying to get rid of me?
Well, I mean, I honestly feel like I'm the villain because the kids are so mad that, you know, I'm telling them that they can't play at your house. But like, okay, the lice incident is what really put me over the top. Like, I can't have my kids come into your house and then getting lice. And like, that means, okay, all of the kids have to be pulled out of school and wash their hair, pull out the nits from their hair, wash every single item in the house, put it in bags, like wait for it to die. Like, it was a whole month-long process. And I know you said that you fixed it and everything, but like I can see those lice eggs in their hair like a mile away. So it's really not about turning against you. It's just that like your kids are dirty and have lice, and so I can't have my kids going over there. If you fix that and you fix the yard, then we're good and they can play. It's not anything like, oh, a battle. It's just the facts are the facts, and it's dangerous at your house and it's dirty.
You're calling my kids dirty, and unless you had a sniper microscope, I can't see how you can look at my kid's hair and see lice eggs from a mile away.
Well, I see them at the bus stop when I'm there in the morning, let's just say that.
Well, they don't have lice. There was an issue, we took care of it. So, from what you just said, half the problems are solved. Lice is no longer a problem, then that's it. We just cut our issues in half.
So thank you both. I just want to check in and see if I'm understanding some of what's been happening for both of you. And so I'm just going to try to check in and see if I heard you all correct. So Jordan, it sounds like you're really proud to be a lifelong resident of this community, and you are really excited about having new kids in the neighborhood where your kids have someone to play with, and you had some curiosities about why Charlie didn't have employment, but you're really grateful to be able to share child care with Charlie. And but you're also feeling terrified about the possibility of rodents or snakes because you care about cleanliness and appearance of your yard and of the neighborhood, and you're concerned about your safety, the safety of the kids, and the neighborhood is a priority for you. And you are feeling outraged about the lice incident and still have concerns because cleanliness is something that's important to you.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole school got it. And I know you're saying, oh, it's solved, but like every single kid is still dealing with this at school, and it just keeps getting passed further and further. So it's not over. And it's just, it's just a burden on everybody. So your burden is now everyone's burden. And it's just also disgusting.
So it sounds like you're feeling, weighed down, and you sense that others are feeling weighed down because of the lice incident or others' issues with cleanliness. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Charlie, I just want to check in. So it sounds like, at first you were feeling satisfied and really delighted about the kids having other kids in the neighborhood to play with when you moved in. And you're feeling sad and disappointed that Jordan isn't allowing the kids to play together anymore at this time, and have felt a lot of stress or anxiety from the letter that you got from the county. And proud of your service in the military, and now feeling targeted by the neighborhood and other neighbors. And sounds like you care about your kids' friendships, and that's a priority for you and for them, and you care about keeping a roof over your kids' heads and caring for your family. And it sounds like you're feeling a bit skeptical that when you heard Jordan say that she's still concerned about the lice eggs, and you feel, content that the lice issue has been resolved and is no longer an issue, and you care about your reputation, and maybe making a plan today about communication in the neighborhood for your quality of life there. Is that correct?
Sounds pretty good. We don't have lice in our house or on my kids' head.
So it sounds like you feel that issue has been resolved and is no longer an issue. Jordan, I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about what the neighborhood was like before Charlie moved in next door to you, or what your past neighbors were like. Can you share some about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very family-friendly neighborhood, really perfect for, young families who are just starting to raise their children. The kids in the neighborhood are mostly all friends. They wait at the bus stop together. They play outside together. They all go to the same school. They walk together to and from. We have a really awesome park right down the street. There's this awesome walking trail. And, this just brings me to another point, honestly, Charlie, that, the park trail has been really damaged by your kids on their ATVs. It's illegal to ride ATVs in the city. That there's an ordinance in our city, we're not the country here. This is not Hicksville. So that trail is for walking. People take their dogs and their kids. It's a beautiful place. And, you know, ever since your kids started riding their ATVs up and down it, the trail is like muddy and there's ruts and like, I mean, even last week after it rained, your kids went out. And so now it's just like these huge ruts and these puddles everywhere. And like, you can't walk. My daughter honestly like fell and sprained her ankle, which I don't know. We still are waiting to hear from the doctor. Is it a sprain or is it a break? But like, that is crazy. Like, this neighborhood was a good place to hang out for families, and now it's becoming a dump. Not just your yard, but like your, you know, scraggly little kids on their ATVs, like making it into, I don't know, some kind of like mullet wearing hickey redneck type situation. Like, that's not this neighborhood. And it's, you know, it's not public property. Like, I know that like on your house is your situation, and I'm trying to like figure out what we're doing about the stuff that impacts my house. But the trail is not yours, that's public property. Like, I would have sued you, honestly, but I can't because it's public property. But my youngest daughter, like, falling in a muddy rut after your kids are on that trail like that, I mean, come on, get them in order, get them in line.
Mullet wearing scraggly kids. So maybe my kids are not all prim and proper and we don't have a poodle. And maybe we can deal with mud and don't have to avoid our white shoes getting scuffed. Yeah, I moved into this neighborhood from somewhere else where we could enjoy the outdoors and interact with the outdoors. Most of this earth is outdoors. And I think it's healthy for my kids to get out and not just be stuck in front of the screen for most of their time outside of school. So I want them to get out there, and that trail is convenient. And if they've gone a little bit too far with the ATVs, we can rein them in a little bit, but it's outdoors. You know, was your daughter looking where she was going? I mean, the whole neighborhood shouldn't be paved. I think this trail
I'm not
should
saying
be
it
a little
needs to
bit
be
of wildness.
paved. I love the wild. Yes, of course I want them to be outdoors, and the trail was not paved. It's grass with, you know, rocks and some gravel. I'm not saying pave it. I'm not like, you know, pave paradise over here. I'm just saying, can we not have these giant mud puddles from those crazy ATV tires with rocks sticking up now, and like, you know, it's ruining the trail. I'm not saying pave it. I'm just saying, can we not ATV, you know, run around on the ATVs everywhere?
So Charlie, it sounds like you've been feeling judged by Jordan, and you know, you care about the health of your kids and their wellness, and them being able to have time outdoors in nature and the way that they have in the past. Is that correct?
If your kids got called hicks and mullet wearing scraggly whatevers, you think you'd feel judged?
Yeah, so it sounds like you're feeling really ticked about how your family is being characterized by Jordan. Is that right? And feeling...
It's like she's dictating what the neighborhood and its people should be.
So feeling kind of policed by since you've moved into the neighborhood. And Jordan, it sounds like you're really grateful for this park nearby and keeping it the way that it has been, and keeping the neighborhood family friendly, and you know, having respect for the park without ATVs making mud holes in the park.
Yeah, just common decency. It's not like I'm policing the neighborhood. You know, it's not like I'm all prim and proper with my white shoes over here. It's just a nice neighborhood, and you know, there's just certain levels of, you know, just decency, just decent human behavior. Like, wash your kids' hair. don't put washer and dryer and dump tires on the yard. You know, don't let your kids run all over the neighborhood with their motorized ATVs. Like, this isn't, I'm not trying to make it Pleasantville. I'm just saying, can we have some decency? Just regular old decency for a regular old neighborhood. We don't need, you know, we don't need it to be manicured. I'm not saying a manicured lawn. I'm just saying cut the grass. Just cut it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to landscape it. It's not the suburbs. I'm a single parent too, you know. Like, I managed to keep my house up. I don't know what's going on over there. You don't even work. You don't even have a job. What are you doing?
Really?
What are you doing, Charlie? You're literally like at home all day. Can't you just cut the grass? Can't you keep your kids in line? I mean, what is going on?
I don't think you know the Pandora's box you're trying to open there.
Oh, your disability. Is that what we're going to talk about right now? You're going to go into your disability? This is what you always do, Charlie. It's always your disability. Okay? Like, we all have our shit. You know, my life's not perfect either. You're going to sit here and huff and puff about your disability and how, like, you are, you know, struggling and this and that. It's like, okay, we'll get it together. I'm struggling too. Everybody in this neighborhood is struggling. Do you see the world that we live in? Like, we all have our stuff. And you're just always like, my disability, I can't do anything.
So, Charlie, sounds like maybe, you know, take your time if we need a moment. Jordan, it sounds like you're having recognition that you're also struggling with some things is important for you, for Charlie to recognize, and that you know, are feeling really livid about this situation and what has unfolded in the past time since Charlie's moved in. And Charlie, I'm wondering if you can share some about what it's been like for you around what it's been like for you since you've moved in, and around how you're feeling about the issue of the fence and the edge of the lawn, or lawn care.
My yard may not be up to her standards, but like I said before, it's a matter of priorities. What led to us moving into this neighborhood is that I was in Iraq for several tours, and that was, so my kids were without me, and I was without seeing them grow up during some of their formative years, and I know that's affected them. And then just before, about a year ago, my wife died. So their mother is gone, and we decided to move to this neighborhood to sort of give us a fresh start, make a renewed effort. But you know what I did and what I saw in Iraq, and as you know, war is it is all that movies and books and all that, they report all that for a reason, because it's intense and it is disgusting and you know, it haunts every moment of your life if you survive it. And it affected my wife, and it continues to affect my kids. I have a hard time getting out of the bed. So just making sure my kids can get to school and hopefully have some friendships. those are like the rock that I need to push. So, pushing a lawnmower is not in the cards most days. So we moved here, and new school, new environment. I had a job for a little while. Hoping to turn the corner because I am getting a disability. It's becoming official. So yeah, I'm at home a lot. It's because I can't do much more than getting out the front door is, just about the biggest challenge I'll face these days. But when my kids come back home and they're stuck in my hell with me because they can't go over to your house and spend time with your friends, now they're confronted with my turmoil every day, and they don't have an outlet, and that tears me up as much as my own visions. And I know that your kids and maybe you are talking about my kids to everybody else, and so they're feeling shunned. And so just to get them some space for me, I tell them to go out on their ATVs. I don't care about an ordinance. It's very low on my priority list, but it's the least my country can do for me to let me have my kids get out and get some fresh air and have some fun.
Well, Charlie, I'm sorry to hear about your wife. I didn't know that. And I get it. I get that it's a hard time for you. And I want our kids to play together too. I just, I can't be having them come to your house when there's like lice and snakes and, I get it. Maybe you can't get out the door, but you still need to take care of your business, there's people who could help you. You could hire somebody else. I'm just saying, you can't just let everything fall on the neighborhood. And the kids driving the ATVs, the stuff in the yard, the lice. And honestly, I wasn't even gonna bring this up, but last time I was at your house and I went to the bathroom, there were 15 pill bottles out with other people's names on them, prescription drugs with other people's names on the bottles out, and it is not my business what you're doing, taking other people's drugs, but I can't have my kids over at your house if there's pill bottles for codeine and everything all around the bathroom, and that you're taking black market drugs. I just can't trust you, Charlie. I just can't trust you with my kids. And I don't know what to do because, I see that you're falling apart over here and I feel for you, but also, there's got to be some ways to keep it contained, and I can't have my kids over there with all this mess, with all these drugs and the trash and the snakes. And, I don't know what you need to do. You need to get some help for yourself. And you need to be able to handle your business.
So that's just it. I need to solve it all. I need to solve it all. How do I control the pain?
I don't know, Charlie. Go to a therapist. This is not my problem.
And where's the money going to come from?
Okay, I don't know. You're a vet. Go to the VA. There's benefits. You're not helping yourself here. You're just wallowing in your pain. There's things to do. I don't know.
And you can't seem to stop yourself from saying, oh, and that brings me to one more problem I have with you.
Well, there's been a lot going on. There's the yard, there's the ATVs, there's the lice, there's the drugs. It's one thing after another with you. Why do you think we're here? I don't know. I mean, I'm like at my wit's end. I'm ready to move. I'm going to move out of this neighborhood, and this is like where I've grown up and what I care about most. And like, you coming in here is going to drive me away. So I'm not happy about it either. I'm not sitting here just like trying to, you know, list off my problems. This is literally my life that is getting ruined.
Your life is getting ruined. Your biggest concern is cutting the grass, and you're saying your life is ruined. I've got injuries, I've got mental issues, I've got kids who are shunned. You know, I just think, you know, Jordan's mountain, actually Charlie's molehill.
Well, you know what? That my molehill is it matters to me. So
I'm going to just try to check in and make sure I'm understanding what's happening. And I know there's a lot of like intensity of feelings happening here. And Charlie, it sounds like you've been feeling judged and policed in the community, and are still grieving the loss of your wife, and feeling sad about the time away that you had from your kids when you were serving in Iraq, and sad about that, in addition to the grieving of the loss of your spouse. And you were anticipating a new start, a new beginning, and you care about the health of your kids and the lifestyle that you all had, and wanting them to experience freedom in this new neighborhood with this fresh start, and that having time with your kids is important to you. And it sounds like you're feeling pressured to try to get it all together right now, and feeling shunned by the neighbors and by Jordan. And you care about your mental health and getting well, and just feeling a lot of pressure to get it all together.
Damn right.
You know?
Damn right.
Thank you, Charlie. And Jordan, I just want to check in. It sounds like you're, you know, you expressed some sympathy for the loss of Charlie's wife, as that was new information for you, and you care about his mental wellness as well as your own. And following the rules and the laws of the county are important to you, as in addition to caring for one's home and neighborhood, and that you want to have trust in your neighbors and the people who live near you and interact with your kids, and trust is something that you care about. Is that right?
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
and-
I can't be living next to this live wire.
Yeah. And it sounds like you care about the roots that you've planted in this neighborhood, and want to stay in this neighborhood. But it sounds like you're also feeling at your wit's end with being able to do that. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just want to check in. So I've heard a number of things that it sounds like you all could make a plan about today in terms of moving forward, and I just want to check in about those and see if we're ready to move on to another stage of the mediation process. And we'll go back, and I'll continue to ask questions to understand what's been happening. It sounds like there's been a lot of moving pieces, and so feel free to continue to share as needed. But one thing I think I heard you all both discuss was the park. And Charlie, it sounds like you're feeling the desire to be able to have your kids to play outside and to experience freedom, and that you care about the kids being able to be outdoors and to maintain a lifestyle that and activities that allow them to feel that freedom, a freedom that you feel strongly about, having fought for this country. And Jordan, it sounds like around the park that you care about decency and respect to the land, and having safety for others who go to the park, especially kids, and that you're feeling sad and disappointed at how the park is being treated with the ATVs. Would the park be something that you all would want to list as a piece of what's been happening to get you the feeling of freedom and being outdoors and the decency and respect that you're looking for?
So what do you mean? What about the park? What do we do about the park?
Yeah, so the next stage of the mediation process, so we've explained the mediation process and we've gathered some information about what's been happening. And so now we're in this third step, which is called listing topics, which really means just making a list of the things that you all want to make a plan about today. And so, and then once we list those things, then you all will brainstorm solutions that can get you the freedom and feeling comfortable in a new space that you're looking for, and the decency and respect and trust that you're looking for. Jordan, does that make sense?
So how do we talk about the park or brainstorm when we don't own the park?
Yeah, so when we brainstorm solutions, brainstorming solutions are things that each of you can do. So things that you would like to ask of each other around the park. So the solutions are only limited by your own creativity and what it is that you want to ask of each other. And so some things that I've heard you say was that you felt targeted and were feeling stress around the letter you got from the county. So for example, if that is something that you would want to list as a solution around some of the issues you've been experiencing, that's something that you could ask of Jordan to contact you first before contacting the county, for example. So it's really things that you two want to ask of each other, even though there are some issues that maybe the school is involved in, or the county, or the Department of Park and Parkways, or other entities. So the brainstorming are things that you would want to ask of each other, and we'll get into that and I'll explain that process more. But at this time, I'm just wondering if the park is something that you all you all would want to brainstorm solutions around, if that's something.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's not that complicated. He just needs to stop having those ATVs out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're still, that making a plan around the ATVs in the park to get the respect for the park that you're looking for.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just going to list the topics up here in no particular order, and then we'll take each of these topics one by one to brainstorm solutions around each of them later. Another thing I think I heard you all talk about was around the fence or the edge of your property lines. And Charlie, you were feeling, policed and judged by the appearance of your lawn, and you care about your mental health and your physical ability to be able to care for it in the way that you feel may be expected of you. And Jordan, you're feeling really terrified of rodents and concerned about the safety of the kids and keeping the grass cut and cleanliness.
Yeah, honestly, there's not even a fence there. It's just my grass and then his grass. So it's just the yard needs to be in order, we can build a fence if that's what we need to do. There's not really like a border. It's just like, here's my property line and then here's his, and it's like they're really right up next to each other. So it's like my grass and his grass, and you can tell the difference because it's like mine is cut and his is not. So yeah, maybe we need a fence. That's not a bad idea, but it's like, I just wanted to clarify. It's just the yard that's right there, maybe we need a border.
Yeah. So again, I just want to clarify, my job is not to give any kind of advice or recommendations, and I think I misheard and misunderstood earlier on that there was a fence, but so maybe it sounds like lawn care is something that, or the lawn is something that you can make brainstorm solutions around, and you're feeling really unsettled and livid about the lawn, and Charlie, you're feeling kind of maybe does it sound like you're feeling helpless or powerless because you're just struggling to transition into this new start and new beginning, along with the mental health challenges?
I've got a lot I'm dealing with, and I'm not crazy, I'm not blind, I can see the difference between your lawn and mine. It's lower on my priority list. I'm working on some bigger things. I will be getting disability, which means I won't have to be worrying about patching together income, and the disability means I'm going to be getting some proper medical care. So, you know, I'm working on these bigger things first.
Yeah, so Charlie, it sounds like you're looking for some, having some consideration and understanding of your situation and the current, your current situation or state that you're in, and
God
trying to
Almighty,
get the help is what you're looking for.
consideration, understanding would be a major benefit, improvement.
Yeah, so is the lawn something that we can list as a topic that you all would want to make a plan about today?
Absolutely.
To get
That
you the
is why I'm here.
consideration, understanding that you're looking for, and the tidiness, respect, and safety that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, and really it's like, I don't know, for me it's all safety. That is my priority. Like, I want the kids to be safe. I want them to be safe when they ride their bikes, when they go to the park, when they're in the yard. Like, can we talk about safety?
Yeah, absolutely. So safety, it sounds like safety is something that you care a lot about. And Charlie, I also heard you mention safety as something that's important to you as well as a priority. And what safety looks like for you, especially as someone coming home from a war zone with those challenges. And so I hear that you're feeling really outraged and terrified, and really worried, Jordan, about that, and looking for you and your kids to feel a sense of safety again in the neighborhood. And so I'm wondering if you all would want to make a plan about maybe either the neighborhood. As Jordan, I heard you say you also care about cleanliness and appearance of the neighborhood and respect for it, and safety in the neighborhood, and feeling disgusted and terrified by what you've experienced or seen. And Charlie, around the neighborhood, about, you care about your reputation and also being able to maintain a quality of life that you previously had for your kids to be able to go outside and do things that you all are used to doing, and that you've been feeling judged and policed, and feeling livid about the characterization that's been put on you and your family in the neighborhood. Is that correct?
My kids say that they've been shunned.
And shunned.
They've even used that word, and if they're saying it, then I don't see a reason for them to lie to me, and I don't see them around her kids anymore or any other neighbor kids. So.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's some real disappointment and sadness around that you're experiencing from them not being able to play with other kids in the way that they once were.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So is neighborhood something that we can list as a topic for you all to make a plan about and brainstorm solutions around?
Yeah, so long as it's about safety, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I think she's focusing on the stuff in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way I'm thinking that, it's, our kids are not infants. They've got good heads on their shoulders. If there's an appliance out there, they're not going to get like stuck inside it or something. I think you're.
I mean, my
overly
youngest is
concerned.
9, so I do have, younger kids than you, and I hear what you're saying. She's not gonna get stuck in the washing machine, but I don't know what's on those parts. They're rusted, they're sharp, there's like grass, you can't tell, it's slippery, I don't know, and I mean, case in point, she literally broke her ankle last weekend walking on that trail after the ATV. So of course they're not babies, they're not gonna put something in their mouth and die, but it's still hazardous, it's slippery, there's plenty of opportunities for them to fall that break their bones. I mean, maybe we have different ideas of how to parent, but getting falling in the mud when it's there's a rut from an ATV, it's something that we could have prevented. That's preventable. Cutting your hand on a rusty, tool in your yard, that's something we can prevent. Like, let's just try to prevent the things that we can prevent. Like my kid ingesting pills because they're curious, teenagers at your house, that's something we can prevent. So I get it, they're not babies and we need to tell them how to like function in the world, but like if we can get rid of these hazards, then let's get rid of them.
You can't protect from everything in this world. Kids, they skin their knees, and that's the way it should be. You learn from pain.
Okay, we're not talking about a skin knee, it's a broken ankle. Broken ankle, hospital bills. She's in a splint, she can't go to soccer practice. Now she's gonna be shunned and left out of the team, and we didn't have to go there.
So Charlie, it sounds like you that you have a lot of confidence and trust in your kids' judgments, and have a level of comfort with the appearance of your lawn and the items that are in your lawn or along the property line. And Jordan, you're just feeling outraged because you and your kids don't feel safe, and prevention is something that's really important to you around a neighborhood and getting the safety that you're looking for. So if I list neighborhood as a topic for things that you all would want to brainstorm solutions around, could that get you the safety and respect and cleanliness that you're looking for, Jordan, and Charlie, the reputation and quality of life and understanding that you're looking for?
So how do we make an idea around the neighborhood?
Yeah, so right now we're just we're in this stage 3 where we're just listing things that you all would want to make a plan about, and then we'll take each one and we can start with whichever one you all would like and brainstorm solutions around it. And so
I'm having a hard enough time making a plan around a daily plan for what's under my roof. How do I make a plan around a neighborhood that's shunned me?
Yeah, so it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed right now and really weighed down by the heaviness of what this process may feel like.
Yeah.
Is that right? And so we'll take each topic here one by one. And so it's just things that, and when we brainstorm solutions, it's whatever ideas that you all have around that you want to ask of each other. So whether, so you can ask whatever you like of Jordan to get you the reputation that you're looking for, or the communication that you're looking for, the quality of life of your kids.
So is it
being able to play.
neighbors? Are we talking about neighbors as opposed to the
Neighborhood? Yeah, so what I thought I heard you all
it sounds
say.
like she has control over the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have control over them. I mean, they're just my friends, and we just talk about life and whatever. I had to tell them about the lice. I mean, what do you expect me to do? I don't have control over them.
Yeah, so can you share more about when you say neighbors? Do you see that as the neighbors, the people, as separate from the neighborhood?
I just, we're not going to repave the road or make some kind of, covenant or, restructure the neighborhood. But I know that she has influence because she waged a very effective whisper campaign. So all respect to you. You got what you wanted. You isolated us.
So it sounds like the idea of the listing neighborhood as a topic feels really heavy and a bit out of reach. But it's, when we brainstorm solutions, it's about things that you would want to ask of each other. And it also sounds like maybe communication is something that you all would want to list as a topic.
To communicate with the neighbors differently.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're feeling policed and judged by the neighbors, and I also heard you say earlier that you care about having direct communication come to you rather than like through a letter from the county. And Jordan, around communication, I think I heard you say that that you're looking for more transparency around communication, like around the issues with the lice or around Charlie's job status, and having some curiosities
so
and
avoidant
looking
of
for
it.
more
He
information.
just avoids, and then, you know, and then he kind of explodes, like, just went wild and got all irate and started talking about his rights, and then stormed off, and then I get this threat, like, I'll see you in court, and, you know, like, I wasn't trying to take it to court, and then I get this letter about mediation. It's like, I really was just trying to talk to you, and you just, you know, won't really engage until it's like almost too late. So yes, I would love to be able to just talk neighbor to neighbor.
And Charlie, I also just saw that you're, looks like you may be experiencing some headaches or some type of...
Let's pause the camera.
Oh, did the red light go on?
No, but it's about to.
Okay. It's kind of less communication as